So today is a really exciting day. I'm here in Korbach in Germany at the Continental headquarters to take a look to see how a tyre is made. So today we're going to take a look at building a tyre from start to finish. It's something that I've got no idea what goes into, so it's going to be really interesting. Korbach is the centre of technology for Continental. It's a huge company. They make their winter car tyres here, and they share a lot of that technology with the mountain bike tyres. But before you build a tyre, you need to design one. So let's take a look where that goes on. So Continental makes 7 different types of mountain bike tyre here in all sorts of different compounds, casings, widths, and obviously wheel sizes. So there's an awful lot of work goes into designing those tyres. There's research and development. There's also a team of athletes they work with help design these tyres. So it's all well and good, but let's actually get into the factory and see where tyres are built. So now we're in one of the oldest parts of the factory. This is over 100 years old, and this is also one of the most important parts. This is where they make the rubber compounds. I'm not sure what that means, so let's take a look inside. So Ulf wouldn't let me into the rubber compounding station. That is top secret stuff. But inside this briefcase, I have all the raw materials that make up that rubber compound. So inside here we have natural rubber that comes straight out of trees. We have synthetic rubber, so that's man-made. We've got sulfur. We've got all sorts of ingredients here, silica, black carbon. All this stuff goes into a secret mixture that makes up these rubber compounds. And here we've got 2 different types of black chili, and these are designed around the characteristics you want from that tyre. So things like durability, grip, rolling resistance, damping. And apparently the experts in the factory can actually smell the difference between the different types of rubber compound. So this nylon fabric makes up the casing of the tyre, and this one's actually 60 threads per inch. And that is designed as well, depending on how supple you want the tyre and also how puncture resistant you want the tyre. That is then rubberised to make up the carcass of the tyre. So if you pull the threads end to end, that's very strong, but if you pull it at 90 degrees, the threads will actually pull apart. That is actually part of the design of these tyres. When you go onto the building machine, that is then folded across, and it gives you that cross-ply effect that gives you strength in 360 degrees. So this rubber compound then goes through an extruding machine that gives you the width and the depth that will eventually make up the tread of the tyre. And as you can see from the tools, the sizes vary massively from big downhill tyres down to small, thin road tyres. It's really cool to see the raw materials becoming parts of the tyre. This machine at the moment is actually making rubberised wire beads for 27.5 inch Kaiser downhill tyres. So now we're into the really interesting part of the factory. This is the tyre building machine. Here you can see the materials coming together. We've got the casing below and the rubber compound on top. At the moment we can see a barron being built. So the first step is to get that casing material rolled around this drum. You see where it's cut at 45 degrees there and joined. Next the lightweight aramid bead go on. You see it's all laser guided as well. This is the apex in part of the tyre, so this goes just inside the bead and gives you stability on the tyre, especially at low pressures. Now this is where the fabric is then folded across. As I was talking about before, the threads now cross each other and give you that really good strength. Next is the protection layer. If this were a dual ply tyre, you'd go around again with 2 casings, but this is just that protection layer. Now this is where the rubber of the tyre gets put on. Again, it's just pressed onto that fabric. It's then cut, and then we've got a special roller that's sitting in a little oven there, so it's heated up and it joins that rubber together. You can also see on the outside of the tyre now we've got this protection layer that's going to sit against the rim to stop the rim from damaging the tyre, but also giving that really good seal. The final part is even laser guided. This is the ceremony of getting the tyre label put on there. So there you go, there's a barron in one piece. There's one final step to make this a tyre. So the final part of the process in making tyres is the vulcanization. So to do that, you need a press, you need a lot of energy, you need steam, but also you need the mold. Here you can see the 29-inch molds, 26 down there, 27.5 here. So these are big, heavy plates. Let's just pull this one out. This is the Cross King. And what you can see in there is a negative of the tyre tread. So actually with that steam and the heat, it's just extruding the rubber into these imprints, and that's how you get the tread. You'll also notice here, there's a load of vents, 1200 to be precise on a Cross King, and that's what gives you those needles on the end of the tyre tread. So you've got a Mud King, a Race King, Baron Project, that's the one I'm after. Let's take this one out. It's very heavy, I bet that's very expensive. So the vulcanization process actually glues everything together and extrudes the rubber to make the knobs using steam, and that's where you see the old chimney at the Continental Factory. Nowadays, Conti have actually teamed up with a local council and a waste plant to produce the energy that makes that steam. So there you go, there's the final product, a Baron Project 2.4 ready to be mounted to someone's bike. That isn't the end of the line for Continental. They then do all sorts of testing on these tyres, from safety to performance. We saw the inside of the R&D department where tyres are tested for puncture resistance, durability, and we also snuck a camera inside the chamber where tyres are pumped up super hard to see what pressure at which they pop off the rim. Tyres are also performance tested for rolling resistance, so they can directly compare one type of tyre to another to see which rolls the fastest. So it's been amazing to tour the factory here at Continental and see exactly how a tyre is made. It's also very cool to see such a huge corporation like this use their knowledge and technology, especially from their winter car tyres, and that goes into making this black chili rubber compound that we use on our mountain bikes. There's also an awful lot of high-tech machines in this building, but it's still really cool to see all that handwork go into the tyres as well, and rightly so, they're still proud of that handmade in Germany tag. If you want to see more videos like this, click on the GMBN logo to subscribe, of course. Click up there for tyre pressure explained, and click down there for how to corner, because now you need to know how to ride in these tyres. Give us a thumbs up if you found this video interesting.